Sometimes you need to see some good progress, like seeing something finished, or at least close to it. Something that gets you excited about your project coming together. Something to boost the motivation. I do want to see this thing run, but this isn't a will it run or a first start episode. We're doing body work today, but if we want to be able to do that soon, we need to make a list. Oh, broke it. I'm always breaking stuff. Carburetor gaskets, coolant hoses, gonna have to make some sort of bracket, fuel lines, thermostat, oil, bolt the fan to the shroud, wire up the starter, ignition. Should probably rig up an oil pressure gauge. Should probably do at least a partial exhaust. That's not a huge list, guys. So the console and the dash, they're an epoxy primer and ready for some body work. But since we're getting into body work and paint, funny thing about the paint and body industry is everybody is better than everybody else. Even the ones that have never done it. And nobody here wants to hear about it. Nobody here wants to hear about it. We're just out here having fun, building a mini truck at home and a hot rod. No professionals around here, unless you're talking about goofing off. Pretty good at that. We're not building a SEMA truck. Bad example. What I mean is nobody's trying to add a Riddler award to that mess on the floor over there. All right, back to the fun. Fun? Bodywork sucks. I hate it. They don't call it body fun for a reason. One thing I don't claim to be is a good body guy, so I want to put a guide coat down and block sand it. That way we can find the low spots that need filler. I had some dry guide coat in here at one time. I don't even have any cheap flat black paint we could use. We'll have to run to town to get some, but I got a couple other things that we could do until then. This dash is out of a 1956 Mercury. We got the glove box door here. I shaved the latch button off of it and the holes for a Mercury emblem, I bet. At one time I had a lot of ideas of doing some high-tech stuff like a linear actuator to open the glove box, but I decided to keep it a lot simpler than that. So we got to figure out how to latch our glove box door. I got some of these. I actually believe that they called them hood pins. I don't think I'd trust them as hood pins unless your hood opens up like ours does on the Love here. But on a hood that opens up normally, like from the front, seemed kind of weak for something like that. Pretty cool though. It's a button. Got a pin with like a ball on the end, and this button, a socket in there. When you hit that button, it actually pops off. So I think that'd be perfect for a glove box. Put it right there, push the button and it'll open up. We'll have to make a bracket in here to hold the pin. Pretty sure we can handle that. I sanded one of these down real good and I sprayed it with epoxy primer. I really don't anticipate it working all that well, but I'm gonna try it. I wanna paint this the same color as the glove box is gonna be, so it kind of blends in. I did it on some chrome handles once, like 14 or 15 years ago, and they're still red, so there's that. But if it doesn't work, I got more. They're a red and anodized color. We can go right to the big guns with these step bits. No pre-drilling required. We're off center by just a hair, but that's okay. Just don't point it out to those Riddler judges. That'll work. Now we just gotta make a bracket for that pin. Might be a little overkill, but that's all right. We wouldn't want our bracket to bend. Have to bend that a little bit. Give it a good whack with a hammer. That'll do, I think. Shouldn't have put this on yet. Looks like we're gonna have to space it down just a little bit. Maybe. We'll mark it the way it is. I don't want it to hang down too far in the glove box. Maybe we can get that to work, or minimize how much we have to space it down. These long nose markers, they sure come in handy. They get right in there. Alright, I'm gonna stop messing around with that. We're gonna move on from that for now. Sometimes you gotta walk away from a little project that ain't really working out for you. We know we can make something work. Here's one for your Harley guys. What do you think? White next? I ran to the Depot of Homes, got the cheapest flat black paint I could find. $2.48. Price went up. I remember this used to be $1 something. $2.48 ain't bad though, guys. You know how much a true dry guide coat costs? We're just gonna use this. We'll end up dropping that steering column. For now though, we're just gonna tape it up. So if you're gonna use spray paint for a guide coat, get flat. Number one, it dries significantly faster, but also it won't gum up your sandpaper as much as gloss. So we just mist this over the top of it, just to give it a light coat. We'll just wait for that to dry. We'll get to block sanding. We're only gonna lightly sand it. We only wanna get through the guide coat because what it's gonna do is any low spots, it's gonna remain black. Then we'll fill any low spots that we need to with body filler. Then we'll prime it with a high build primer. Then we'll guide coat it again. Then we'll wet sand it with 600 grit, wash it, then we'll paint it, and then we'll sit back and look at it and be super excited that it looks like something got done. Even though this is nowhere near ready for anything like that. But I don't care. I want to see that in color. I'm not worried about it getting scratched up or anything as we're building the rest of this, because chances are I'm going to end up painting it again with the rest of the cab all at once. So I'm kind of lightly sanding through our guide coat into the primer, cross hatching this way, then this way. And you can see here where it reveals the low spots. They're not real low, just a hair. Honestly, some high build primer would probably take care of those. But we're gonna do a real thin skim coat of body filler over those and any other ones that we're gonna find. Like this one on the glove box door. And I already know there's a couple places on that console. On the top of the dash here, we're using this longer block. It's a bigger surface, and you really want to cover as much as you can with one long straight block. Using a shorter block like this, you risk putting waves in it because you're only covering a small area at a time. Largest area you can, all at the same time. I quit. Just kidding. I just want to cover up those carburetors. Dust does get everywhere. So we're looking at the guide coat to find the low spots. And I'm looking for the metal to find a high spot like this. So that really needs to be a stopping point because I'm obviously not going to get any lower than that. And if I keep working that area, that high spot right there is going to remain high because it's metal. And I'm just going to be taking down the stuff around it even lower. we'll end up with a little hook in the dash, and we don't want that. So this is going to be our reference point to how low we can go. Well, that was about the fakest smile ever. Tried to convince the wife that she wanted to learn how to do this body fun. She didn't buy it. It'd be great if YouTube paid like people think it does. For some people it does, but not the most of us. It's a struggle. I do it because I'd be out here anyway, and I love making videos, and it's super fun for me to hang out with you guys in the garage. Good friend of mine from up north where I'm from said that he likes to watch my videos because it feels like we're hanging out in the garage again. I said that's why I keep doing it. It's like I'm hanging out with my friends in the garage. You guys. And that really means a lot to me. We got a lot of work to do in this glove box area here. Ew. I'm not a money motivated person at all. I mean, I got to make sure that the bills are paid and we're comfortable and I can keep doing what I like to do, because that's what motivates me, being able to be creative, make something happen that originally just existed in my head. I just want to be out here doing our thing, having fun. But it definitely ain't free. So if you want to help out the channel, I wouldn't say no. Just watch the video and hit that like button. That works. We have channel memberships now too. Ugh, I thought the glove box was bad. I hate body work. So this is a piece of trim that goes on the dash. It'll sit on there like that. And this trim actually flows into the gauge cluster and then comes up on the other side here. We're gonna wanna get this as straight as possible too, because we're gonna paint this. It's not gonna be red like the dash, it's gonna be an accent color. It's pretty straight for the most part, but I know that there's a little dinger in here somewhere and I just gotta find it. That's what the guide coat's for. Found it, plus a few more. We're getting real close to having to mix up some mud and slap it on that. You excited? I'm not. Means more sanding. My weakness with body work, I put too much on and I take too much off. And I have to keep doing that over and 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 over again. Just your regular old #2 pencil comes real handy here because we can circle our low spots. It doesn't absorb into the primer or body work and it'll sand right off, so you don't have to worry about it bleeding through your final job. So we're just gonna go around and circle all the spots that need a little filler. The reason I want to circle those is because I'm gonna get at it with some 80 grit. Because since they were low spots, they didn't get sanded, so I want to make sure that the body filler is going to stick to those spots, but I don't want to lose them. Last thing you want is 80 grit scratches to show up in your final paint job. Fresh clean sheets. So these cost money, which sucks, but they work really well because they don't soak up any of the moisture, hardener, whatever on your mud, like if you were to use cardboard. And you don't have to clean it up when you're done because you just peel it off, throw it away. I use the quarter sheets for paletting my pinstriping brushes. So we're gonna mix this up kind of weak, and we're gonna let it sit up longer than normal because we're gonna try to avoid any possibility of pinholes, because we don't want to do any more body work after this. This is it. We're gonna do this and then we're gonna spray it with a high build primer. We got 80 grit on this now. We're not gonna sand through the body work, just the high spots. Just wanna knock it down a little bit so we don't have to try so hard with the 180. After we block sand that dash and console with 180, we can mask it off. This is a 2K high build primer from Spray Max. We really do use this a lot around here, but I'm almost out, so it's probably gonna be the last time we use it. I took the other stuff out of the refrigerator because it'll spray better when it's warmer. We have a few cans of the Rapid primer filler here, and we got a couple 2K Viper Red that I had to mix up for me a while ago, and it's got to get used up. So that's what we're going to use on this, but it'll probably be the last time because this stuff's kind of pricey. Super convenient if you don't have an air compressor or a gun or know how to use it. We'll end up doing that from now on, but we're going to use this stuff up first. Take the button off the top. Well, we put it in the bottom so we can pop the activator open. Give her a good shaking. You see this? We're in a final primer. How cool is that? Getting stuff done. We're gonna do a quick guide coat on that, and then we'll wet sand it before we put some color on it. Color on that. Big step, guys. You curious how it's gonna turn out? Well, stick around, because this is the goal. Dodge Viper Red and GM Arctic White. Next week, color. LTsCustomGarage.com for the pinstripe art and merchandise. See you there.